Earth as a singular planet. In fact, it is anything but. For this is a story not of a universe,
but a multiverse.
Where universes and planets, such as Earth, were replicated and mirrored across a vibrating, infinite plane. Some barely different from the next.
Others drastically so.
This is DC On Screen. Every week, Dave and Jason talk about the multiverse of DC properties on film and television. But be warned, if it's been officially released, you can expect they'll spoil it.
Welcome into DC On Screen episode 508. Today we'll be talking about the season 2 premiere of Black Lightning, The Book of Consequences, Chapter 1, Rise of the Green Light Babies. I'm your host, David C. Robertson. This is my co-host, Jason Goss.
Hey! Note 1, before we even get started, please calm down with those titles.
Didn't they do like a very stylized intro with the title on it?
Yeah, that was actually pretty cool. But I just kind of wish that was what it was referred to within the structure of the thing. And on any device you're looking at, you almost have to wait and let the entire title scroll across your screen to see what this episode's title is. Mm-hmm. It's a lot. It is a lot.
Yeah.
I have another before we even get started, but I feel like I should preface it by saying I enjoyed last season. So a lot of what I'm about to say, the problem is they didn't move on from last season.
Well, I mostly enjoyed last season until we got to the last couple episodes.
See, I like the last couple episodes just fine. I just remember them mostly as being like I thought it wrapped up pretty well. Like there was a big mystery. We got a briefcase to deal with. Tobias has something he's not supposed to. We know for sure that Gamby is way more of a badass than we thought. He's got connections we didn't even anticipate. All that kind of stuff. Like that was a lot to chew on. I get that. I'm good. But like for the most part, it just felt like we were dealing with last season's baggage a little bit still.
Yeah. Did I say who we were?
Maybe.
Did I do that?
Yeah, sure.
I'm your host, David C. Robertson. This is my co-host, Jason Goss.
Hi.
All right, I said it again. Maybe I didn't say it before. I don't remember. My brain's gone. Facebook.com/group/DC On Screen Podcast. Okay, let's get into this thing.
Go for it.
I wanted to like it a lot.
Couldn't quite get there.
It's more than I couldn't quite get there. I think this is probably the worst episode of Black Lightning I've seen.
I don't want to, but I have to agree right now.
I feel like they tried to cram at least half a season into one episode.
I think I'd have been annoyed if they spread what happened here out to a whole half season.
Agreed. I think they decided on a direction and they said, okay, we just got to get over this chunk of shit the fastest we can.
See, that's what I'm worried about.
And it still felt slow.
The two things that I'm extremely not looking forward to right now.
Mm-hmm.
And there are things that I am looking forward to. But it mostly still has to do with the season finale of last year. Like, I still want to see where all that goes. What's the vice principal's name? I can't remember.
I don't know her name.
The vice principal, who's an ASA.
Yeah.
Like, that's an interesting thing. Her and Tobias at the end, that was cool. By the way, stabbed with a harpoon in the stomach. Oh, that's rough. That's a rough way to go.
That was silly. It is a rough way to go, and I don't think she's dead. We didn't see a body.
No, she's fine, wherever she is. It's just, I mean, not fine, but she's alive.
When he shot her through the gut and she started screaming, I was like, "Holy shit, she's doing some really good acting." That's
what that should feel.
Intended.
Well, here's
gut-wrenching.
the thing that I liked about how she was screaming. She was screaming like she was surprised because who the fuck keeps a harpoon behind their desk?
Right. Well, apparently someone who is named Whale.
Well, yeah. But even then you're thinking...
is so on the nose that he's got to carry a harpoon gun.
There's a list of things that are more convenient and effective than a harpoon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I get it. I get that you're surprised that you just got harpooned in the stomach. Like, you remember in Serenity when the guy's like, he stabbed me with a sword, Mal. With a sword.
Yeah, guy killed me with a guy killed me with a sword, Mal.
Yeah.
How weird is that?
Yeah, because it's several hundred years past like Earth's demise. And it's like, sword? Really? Sword? That's how I go out? Sword?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. That's how that felt to me when she screamed. I liked that. I liked how agonizing she seemed when she was being pulled across the whole time. Just thinking like, oh, your abdominal wall is just that's gotta be rough.
Mm-hmm.
That I dug. Anyway, her story as it may go forward, I like. I like it more than it did last season when she just seemed like a petulant second guesser.
See,
I think she's improved.
I think her storyline is basically where the show suddenly decided to stop being Black Lightning and start being Black Dynamite. Like, all of a sudden, we got, like, the soul music, and she's, like, got razor sharp heels, and her and Cyanide are, like, fighting with their titties out. And I'm like, what is even happening?
Oh, I knew that was
Like-
coming. I mean, you saw the poster for this season.
No, I didn't.
No, we were going to
I
do
didn't see the
some
poster.
Shaft-like stuff here and there.
That's so stupid.
It was going to be a little over the top.
I'm like, this is some bullshit, man.
I didn't
Like-
mind that at all. Like, it went on a little long, but it was actually it was well
Uh-huh.
choreographed. I did enjoy
It
the
was.
fight. I
like-
thought it was a little anticlimactic for the character that Cyanide goes out that way, but
A little bit, yeah.
the part that I wasn't troubled at all by the scene. Maybe could have shortened a little bit, but even then, it was fun. I enjoyed it. Not really hating on it, except that shoe in the neck looked like shit.
It didn't look great. No.
It looked like it pulled from like Who Framed Roger Rabbit days. That's literally what it reminded me of. I had to remember the name of the film, but yeah, that's what it reminded me of.
Shit, when the spikes come out of the heels, that looked like, 1960s Avengers shit.
Yeah, could have been.
Like, oh, okay, she's Emma Peel now.
Now.
All right.
I'm not trying to take away without giving here. That looked like crap, but all of Jen's powers actually look pretty damn good. Like
All of who?
Jennifer's powers.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So I feel like they
I
sacrificed.
thought you said Jim.
No, Jen. Sorry. Jim.
It's like
You didn't
Jim.
catch Jim. How did you not catch Jim? He's a
Maybe I am Ralph
shapeshifter from the
Dibny.
fifth dimension. He was invisible the entire episode, but that's why you didn't see him.
Yeah, those
You
powers
only called
looked
him if
really
you had
cool.
the captions on. Oh well.
What killed me is, like, she's upset because her friend is a complete douche about people with powers and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
These green light babies
Yeah,
or whatever.
Keisha can go right to hell.
Yeah.
In the
And
days.
but she's like, you're scaring me. Why'd you run to the bathroom? I just wanted Jen to be like, I'm taking a shit, Keisha. Get the hell away
Get
from
gone.
me.
Get gone.
Like, if you're gonna run to the bathroom, the quickest thing is the quickest excuse.
In
it's
any
like-
situation.
My stomach tore up. Go home.
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
Everyone will roll with you from that.
Yeah.
But damn, her powers look great.
They do.
Whatever they took away from that shoe, that godforsaken shoe, they gave to the rest of that power set.
I feel like this episode should now be called that godforsaken shoe.
It was bad.
Oh. All right. So the editing in this episode was really bad. I don't know. Oddly enough, the thing that I kind of hated the most, or thought, not hated, the thing that I thought was the stupidest thing, which was the godforsaken shoe titty flopping fight in
didn't even
the
notice titty
garage or
flopping.
whatever.
I mean, you're
both
on your own on
of
that
them,
one.
like, were like, it was like super low cut, like side boob everywhere. They're like both wearing like shit like Pam Grier or something.
I don't know. Like vice principal lady was wearing basically like aluminum foil bag.
Yep.
She was well protected.
But it was a low cut bag though,
low
buddy.
cut bag. Gotcha.
Um,
I'm gonna remember
Yeah.
her name somewhere in this episode. God help me.
Miss Fowdy.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. There you go.
But yeah, she that wound up being my favorite sequence. Like, I laughed and enjoyed myself more in that sequence than any other segment of the episode.
No, for me that was the hallway fight.
Yeah, oh yeah, the Daredevil fight. Yeah.
That was a solid hallway fight.
Yeah. Oh, that's just that was a solid hallway fight. That was a lot of fun. I didn't enjoy myself as much. But
I don't know. I enjoyed that one pretty thoroughly.
I did enjoy it. I did enjoy that. But like just this coming into the episode, it was like they were just trying to plow through exposition, and like suddenly it's just like cut to Jennifer on the bed, cut over to Anissa staring at her with a disgusted look on her face. Like, wait, what are we doing? Why are we all of a sudden here?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we go from, the parents getting their asses handed to them, and then all of a sudden to the kids, and like, look what's on my phone. Oh, I'm floating now.
Right.
Dun dun dun. It was just, and then it's all of a sudden, it's like, oh, let me just go ahead and tell so and so that I'm Black Lightning, and oh man,
Like that part annoyed me. It was like I feel like the show is still just dealing with season 1 problems, which is fine in the sense that I mean, it's supposed to be dealing with stuff that happened in the season before it. It's not supposed to be a new book, but altogether. But I felt like this episode was just, it could have been the next episode from last season, not the start of a new chapter kind of thing. I'm using like book terminology because that's what this guy uses, but whatever. But they changed the city. Like the tone of the city changes. Where like there's this huge ignorant masses storyline going on that I'm really not excited about because I always get bored by those. I don't know if that's me or not, but I always get really, really bored with like the average person on the street can't cope with this happens. Blah blah blah. For me, it's frustratingly obvious that you should kind of cope with certain things. So I'm not excited about the storyline, but at the same time, like the scene up front with the kid getting choked out, like that was poignant, relevant, well done. Didn't feel like they hammed that up at all. I liked it. Some Bob Marley on top of it. Good scene. Why did we try to rush all the exposition on stuff like that was a good scene, and then just go back to within the episode playing with what we were doing last time?
Yeah.
I could have done less
was weird.
With Jennifer not understanding that she has shit to deal with now, and more with stuff is changing in the city. Like that could have been, I don't know. For me, that would have been way more.
Yeah, I can see that.
Impactful.
Absolutely. I was very aggravated with how much this episode was just people yelling at each other. Like
a little bit.
Can we just not? I mean, I get it. People from the school board are yelling at Jefferson.
Yeah,
makes sense.
And the weird dude
they
yelling
made some
at
good points.
God, I've forgotten everybody's name now.
Yeah, that's okay.
Lynn. Yes,
that weird.
The weird guy yelling at Lynn.
Weird, yeah, he wasn't even yelling. He was just talking real low and weird. Like,
over-enunciating.
I like that guy. I wound up liking that guy.
Yeah, he's going to be an interesting character. At least the way it was acted was interesting. But yeah,
I hated how I feel like there is, and you and I were talking a little bit about this before the show. I feel like there is a mandate in the writers' room that they're like, oh, what's missing here? Oh, I'll tell you what's missing. Lynn needs to be in some state of undress, and then they're going to have an argument, and she's going to get up and go back home.
Yeah, only to come back later. Insisting that this family will stay together as though she's not the one who walks out every single time they have a discussion.
I am like
I really do think there's like a bonus system, or maybe it is actually into the pay structure of the writers' room that they have to have her be angry about something in nearly every scene, and it takes away from her character a lot. Because, do you notice in the recap for this season, none of her waffling from last season was included because it was not freaking relevant. Like her going back and forth about, oh my god, I know this now and I feel this way about it. It was all irrelevant. Like they had her feel things all last season instead of doing things last season. So she didn't actually impact the story that much. And they're starting to do it now, and it's a mistake. It's a good actress and she could be a good character, and they're kind of screwing that up for me.
Here's a great example of her waffling even in this episode, is where she is like, we can get you help, blah blah blah, and then like her daughter accidentally hits her with the lightning. Yeah, and she's like, "Oh, Mom, I'm so sorry," and she's like, "No!"
Oh yeah, no. Inside,
you're a monster.
Inside 30 seconds, she's an exposition machine saying like, "We got to deal with this." Like, I shot a guy, and you maybe blah 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 blah. Exposition machine saying you got to deal with the stuff, and then as soon as her daughter takes a tone with her, hey, watch your tone, little girl. No, those aren't. That person doesn't say those two things adjacently. And then right behind that, oh no, I'm scared now because I got hurt. And does the stupid tropey B-movie thing where you're like scared suddenly because somebody hurt you a little bit. Like, that is scary on a human level. But that's still your daughter, and you knew she could do that. I feel like she's supposed to cope a little faster. This is a doctor. This is a doctorate level thinker we're talking about. It felt stupid and weird. And then 2 seconds
later, you're on the roof.
Yeah, a few seconds later, you're there, you're on the roof. Like, oh, we're going to get through everything. They just, like, scene to scene, they cannot decide what she's supposed to be thinking, and it's killing me. Yeah. Again, that's the part that worries me the most about this, is like, it's not her fault. She's killing it. Whatever they decide to make her do, her apparently bipolar ass do, she's doing fine with it. But they cannot decide what she's supposed to be doing.
It's like she's mad at Jefferson, then she's undressing and talking about how he's going to have a limp dick.
Yeah.
from stress. I mean,
in some way, I like that conversation though,
so
because
weird.
it's kind of like the weird, very personal kind of conversation that would lead to intimacy and like an actual marriage. Like it makes way more sense than just like the sitcom wife that comes out in lingerie all of a sudden, and the tropey dad just is like, "Oh my god, I can't help myself."
Mm-hmm.
That feels more real.
I guess.
Oh, speaking of real, by the way, this struck me as actually like, okay, that's a really good moment in what would otherwise be a really bad moment. All right, remember when I forget his name, the kid that comes back to life in the body bag.
I don't know. I can't remember his name.
I can't either. I think it's 4 letters, but I can't remember his name. Sorry. Allie or something.
God.
I feel like something 2 L's. Anyway, the guy comes back to life.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's his sister is saying like, "Run, run, run," and he makes it. He gets away, and we're gonna deal with him later.
Right.
So there's plenty to deal with there. But like the real thing, the real shit kind of thing I heard was the mom saying like, "I was happy. I didn't have to worry about you out there doing shit."
Yeah.
Oh man, that felt like something you'd like. I honestly wondered if one of his powers was invoking honesty.
Yeah, because then she was like, "I didn't mean to say
all
those
that."
words."
Yeah. But it did feel very honest. Like if that's the position you're in as a parent every single day, yeah, you would have that problem. Like every single freaking day, you're worried about what this kid's doing, and then one day at least you know the conclusion. It's over. It's over in the worst possible way, but it's over.
ISSA. Issa.
Issa? Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. That was rough, and that one hit me.
Yeah. That was a good moment. And
that was good.
Thing that occurred to me though was like I'm watching that real honest, good moment happen right behind her saying, "You're not my boy," blah blah blah, and I just kept getting more and more disappointed with, is this what we're gonna do with the season? Is just this storyline of again the ignorant masses? I don't want to do it. I just don't want to do that. I want that to get wrapped up pretty quickly and let's go somewhere else with the family moving on and some progress and some powers. It's a show about super people.
I was thoroughly annoyed by this corrupt-ass preacher on the show. In this corrupt-ass congregation.
I'm not sure they're corrupt.
Because
where'd you get that?
Okay, well, first of all, and look, maybe I'm wrong, alright? I've been wrong about the show before. They've seemed to set up things that appeared to me to be a deeper thing, and then they just didn't ever pay it off. Last season, Jefferson very blatantly mentioned the car that the preacher's driving, kind of made it out like he's kind of a corrupt preacher who's just taking a lot of the money for himself.
You know what? I forgot he was even there before.
Yeah.
Okay. So I see your point.
So, like, person in a mask shows up with a duffel bag full of money and throws it in the middle of the floor. And instead of saying, "We don't want your corrupt money," or "Where did you get this money?" or "Hey, did you just rob a bunch of mobsters who are going to come and, like, murder all of us for using this?" Or maybe this is marked money.
How much of a problem
did you
is this
launder
going to be? Just praise God.
Yeah, that bothered me quite a bit, and because I've known a lot of people who are in charge of churches and stuff, and yeah, I'm not saying there are no corrupt church people. Absolutely, there are corrupt church leaders and whatnot, but I think it would have been more interesting for Anissa's character if they had said like, You went about this the wrong way, didn't you?
No, see,
no, we don't want this.
That may be one of the things that I like coming up. Is it sets up a storyline where it's Jefferson who has to come back to her and say, like, we talked about this. I thought we did as much as we could.
Yeah.
What are you doing? And again, the Book of Consequences.
Right.
That actually sets up a storyline that I might be excited about.
Mm-hmm. But I don't know what they're doing here. I'm annoyed by this preacher guy. That's what I know for sure right now.
Yeah.
That's what I know for sure right now. Because if they do a certain thing with it, I don't like how they're painting the community.
Could be.
I think it's detrimental the way they're painting that community. Because sometimes they've been like, this preacher is corrupt. They've kind of pointed toward that way. And then other times they've kind of like seemingly painted it in a way that this is the heart of the community. This is where we have our town hall, our city hall. We sit and talk about, problems within the community and things that are coming up. And you see what I'm saying? Like, I'm just a little confused about what they're really trying to do here.
They could go a few ways with it. I mean, people saw him receive that money. He is accountable to the fact that those people saw him receive, apparently armed people. saw him receive that money.
Yeah, that was some interesting shit, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, that part was funny. And frightening.
I mean,
But yeah, he's accountable. So if at this point he tries to go the wrong way with it, let's say he tries to use some of the money for the defense fund, or and use some of the rest of it for personal gain. He's got people that might be holding him accountable, and at that point, it might create a really neat storyline with Thunder, even if it goes the right way. Here's the thing: in theory, she steals the money, gets away with it, hands it to the people. The people use it for the defense fund. Everything goes well. We all go home. Well, since that's not going to happen, what we do know is that she didn't kill anybody in that house, and some of those people saw her use her powers.
Right.
And they made a point of, you saw their eyes go to it when she used her powers. They know it's Thunder. So they're going to know what's happening. They're going to know that money suddenly showed up at a church. And I feel like there will be consequences.
Mm-hmm. Well, sure.
I feel like this preacher ends up dead. I think the preacher ends up dead. That's my prediction right now.
Yeah, that would be my prediction as well. At this point.
If not, parts of the congregation. But apparently they're going to go down fighting.
Yeah, I'll keep, obviously, we're going to keep watching this show. But I don't. This episode was pretty bad for me.
Yeah, it wasn't what I was hoping for. I kind of wanted them. I wanted them to embrace where they were going a little bit more, and the parts where they did are storylines that just, maybe it's my fault, but I'm not super interested in.
Yeah.
I do think the season as a whole has plenty of time and will get into a place that I'm more excited about, but early on I feel like I'm going to be kind of a little disappointed up front.
Mm-hmm. I did really like the conversation at the end where Jefferson decides to step down if they keep the school open.
Yeah, the symmetry of it.
Yeah, I like when he's like, like you said, it's about saving the school, not about saving my job. Mm-hmm. That was really good.
I do kind of get, I get why he wants to resign. I get why it's important to him.
Mm-hmm.
That part was maybe the more impactful part of the episode to me. He's ready to be drugged through the mud by the press.
Mm-hmm.
See, that made sense. I just wish I'd seen more of the development of the press.
Yeah. And the press that they've shown on the show has been...
we skipped about 3 episodes between this episode and the season finale of last season.
Yeah, that's what I feel like. Or that they've tried to cram 3 episodes into one. That's what I feel like, really. The press in this show is really bad for some reason. Or at least in this episode, this woman who was like doing like her claw hands and like emoting what she was obviously reading off of a cue card. I don't know. Mm-hmm. It was just like really bad.
Don't
do
yourself a favor. Don't read the scroll underneath the news that Jefferson is watching.
Oh, what does it say?
It was like what it's saying makes sense. It's something about like pricing problems and like there's just the city's in crisis kind of stuff. And the actual news it's trying to deliver like economic problem, blah 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 blah. It's fine, but if you actually read it, it'll read like it's like housing prices blah blah blah. But while I can't remember if it's while but while, but I swear those two are together at some point.
That's rough.
Just bothered me. I can't let this go either. Something that just bothered me. Mm-hmm. Man, Anissa's like bag as she's leaving that meeting, or as she's leaving the church. Mm-hmm. Just top of that bag's unlatched. Mm-hmm. I don't know why it was bothering me so much. It just should have been latched. How is this the take that made it in?
That's funny.
All they had to do was have them go back and walk across again. And she's like gesturing with the bag. It was that's on me. That's a pet peeve. It did bother me.
I'm sorry, man. Oh, going back real quick, what I was saying is like, yeah, I know that Henderson and Jefferson have had like a decades old relationship, but the sense that I got last season was that he actually knew anyway. Like he had like a solid suspicion, a lot like, Gordon kind of pretty much knows who Batman is. And then for him to be so mad this episode, I was like, well, damn, dude, you didn't know anything, did you? Like, you were really surprised when he took off that tiny little eyepiece and it was the guy that you thought that you've known all these years with sunglasses on.
Like, I wanted him to at least leave the shadows, but it just wasn't. Like, he could have been wearing aviators, and he would have just went up and asked Jefferson, like, "Hey, did you see my friend Jefferson?"
Mm-hmm. Have you seen the trailer for that Holmes and Watson with Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly?
Mm-mm.
It's Sherlock Holmes. It's like a Sherlock Holmes parody. And he's talking about in the trailer how he's like Holmes is a master of disguise, and we see Will Ferrell with a big handlebar mustache. And Watson goes, "What have you done with Sherlock?" And he's like, "Watson is me." He's like, "Oh, brilliant."
That feels right. Every time I want to get onto a scene like that, though, I keep remembering the Henry Cavill experiment where he just walks around New York,
I know,
like Times Square with some glasses on, and no one notices a damn thing.
I know. Do you remember the old Superman cover where Superman comes in and he's like, "No, I won't marry you, Lana, nor you, Lois. Why? Because you're both too stupid to realize I'm Clark Kent." That was a real comic cover.
I know. There's been some weird shit in that 80 years.
That was one of the least weird things. I think that was the most real it got.
Yeah.
Anyway.
There have been super horses, and it's been a long thing.
Super horses. Real quick, you think Miss Fowdy is lying to Gamby? I think it's pretty clear she's lying to Gamby.
About the briefcase? Or about her wanting to be detached?
I think she's, the best way to lie is to tell the truth. I just don't think her motives are pure. I don't think she wants to get out. She just needs his help and needs to tell him whatever he needs to hear.
It'll depend on what happens when we figure out what happened to her after she left that window. After her defenestration.
After this episode, I wouldn't have thought before, but after this episode, I'm guessing she went and hung out with a dude that had freaking goldfish in his heels.
Yeah. I mean, if she gets out of there and that was something her and Gamby kind of had going on, that makes sense. If she gets out of there and she bit off more than she could chew and Gamby was right not to trust her, like that can work too. I don't know. I really don't know. She threw herself out a freaking window. I don't know.
Yeah.
With a, harpoon in her tummy.
And that was the dumbest thing to me. If she jumped out of that window with the harpoon in her stomach, Tobias, instead of going to the window and looking to see what happened or like sending people downstairs to grab her, he just kept sitting there going, "Arr! Arr!"
Now, in a way, that makes more sense. From a viewer standpoint, she jumped out a window. Like
No, go ahead. Tell me.
We know that like if he went over there and saw a body, by the time he got down there, he might not see the body again. Like some part of him might just be like, yeah, she jumped out the window. She must have had a plan and been annoyed that she even got in there, or that he didn't get to kill her when he could. Also, her jumping out the window, he just told her, "I'm going to flay you with a butter knife." I might jump out a window. That sounds preferable. I'm not even judging her in this scene. That makes she made sense to me in that scene, except for the fact that she approached him to begin with.
Yeah, that was stupid.
That was not well planned. But again, that's where we get back to Gamby. Maybe that was well planned. We don't know. Gamby is capable of that kind of crap. He might send her in being like, he's going to attack you. You're not going to come out well. Just leave that place safely, and we'll get you back on your feet. It'll be all right.
I'm just annoyed with Tobias Whale grunting wildly at the camera.
No, he gave a sideways glance to the cameraman, not the camera itself.
Right.
Yeah. But I get your point.
Well, here's hoping that the rest of the season self-corrects.
I think it will. I think the stuff I was annoyed with is going to be dealt with early on. Mm-hmm. And it was good last season. I think the show is going to get better. I just didn't like this. This was a weak opener to me, but I think the show is going to get better. Or the season's
I really
hope
so. Really hope so. It was a solid show last year.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's it. I think that's all I've got. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, if you want to debate us, a lot of people say don't add us. No, come at us. Come at us. Not don't come at us, but come at us. I'll stop now. Facebook group.
Come symbol us, not come word us.
Facebook.com/groups/DC On Screen Podcast, or we're on Twitter, DC On Screen. We're on Instagram, same place, DC On Screen. And we'll be coming right back with DC On Screen episode 509, our Titans Season 1 premiere review. And spoiler alert, it was rad, y'all.
Shway.
Until next time, Stop saying shui. Keep some DC on your screen. Our opening narration was from Dan Jurgens' The History of the DC Universe, Part 3 of 10, as featured in DC 52, Week 4. It was performed by me, David C. Robertson. Intro music by Jason Goss and Michael Shackelford. Michael's band, Future Elevators, could be found on Spotify or future-elevators.com. Our introduction was performed by Effie Ophelders of the fantastic podcast Stealing the Remote, which lives on SoundCloud. It can also be found on iTunes and Stitcher. We are proudly in partnership with TV Time, the TV show calendar and social media site that lets you keep track of what you're watching, what your friends are watching, and where you all left off. DC On Screen is a maladjusted production. Visit maladjusted.tv for more from me and Jason, including sketch comedy, an improvised web series, vlogs, parodies, and more.
Are you maladjusted?
We all love the low country lifestyle, which is why we should do our best to protect it. To get insurance that helps you protect your home from whatever the low country throws at you, contact CT Lowndes and Company today. Their local agents can review your coverage to help make sure you're properly protected. CT Lowndes and Company has been helping protect and insuring the low country since 1850. Visit ctlowndes.com to learn more and request a quote. That's CTLOWNDES.com.